Avoid these 5 common first-time property investing mistakes, okay? So in today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 of the mistakes I see lots of people make when they're first starting off in property investing. So the fact that you're watching this video, fantastic. You're interested in increasing your passive income. You're probably interested in building out your wealth. You're probably interested in generational wealth. All good signs. You might even understand that that our lovely pension is hardly worth anything by the time we get there. So we want to make sure we're building a nice financial fortress around ourselves. So do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, please, so you're up to date with all the other property videos that we put out there. And again, my name's Dervish. I run the Black Belt Property Academy, where we take white belts in terms of property investing knowledge, to black belt and beyond. Okay, so want any more information, check out my website, dervish.com, and have a look on there. Okay, right, so let's get into it. Today I've even wrote this on a piece of paper, so don't forget. Number 1, chasing cash flow over fundamentals. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that. Number 2, not running our numbers properly. Major one, that. Number 3, over reliance on estate agents for deals. Number 4, trying to do everything yourself, a classic entrepreneurial thing. And number 5, waiting too long to start. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Like I said, make some notes, scribble things down on a piece of paper, whatever it is, but make sure that we're understanding, reading it, and then bringing it in. Because I want you to improve your knowledge, your cash flow, and your wealth. So, number 1, chasing cash flow and fundamentals. Cash flow is key. Speaking from somebody who built a very successful martial arts school, we need to understand how important cash flow is, because it's only when you don't have cash flow do you realize how important it is. Okay, so if you wanting to expand your portfolio or to build a portfolio, everything should be measured through the cash flow. How much cash am I going to get from this each and every month? But there's also other elements from it as well. We need to make sure that we're tracking, understanding maintenance costs, void periods, managing agent costs. Okay, so we can't just look at, let's for argument's sake, a 100 grand property, know that it's going to rent for 750, £800 a month, and then just assume that my mortgage is 400, the rent's 800. I've got this nice £400 cash flow here. We need to be budgeting for things. Okay, so void periods for us, it tends to be every 2.5 years. Some properties, like one of our properties, we've had a tenant in for probably about 10 years now, and another property 12 months ago, the previous tenant was in for about 16 years. So that was fantastic. But one of our properties that's just now been occupied again, the tenant was only in for 18 months. Another property, again, the 2-bed end terrace, a couple of years ago, they were only in for 6 months. But on average, tenants tending to stay for 2.5 to 3 years. Anyway, what I'm getting at there is cash flow is key. Cash flow is king, of course it is. But we need to understand there's lots of expenses that come out of your cash flow. So you should always look at your deals through how much cash flow is this going to bring into my account, my bank account each and every month. The estate agent might say it's the best deal ever, and I'll have like an 8% yield. Check out some of my blogs as well. I mention a lot about yield there and that type of stuff. It's all about cash flow, especially when you're starting off. We need to make sure where you're investing your money, whether or not it's your money or family, friends, another joint venture partner or anything like that, that it's getting a decent return all the time. Okay, so that's number 1. We need to make sure that we are chasing cash flow, but not avoiding the fundamentals. The fundamentals being how maintenance. The fundamentals being void periods. A big one, 10% normally plus that, if you're letting it out or if you're passing it to a managing agent. So always be aware. Don't neglect the fundamentals. Point 2, not running the numbers properly. Right? How long have we got? Numbers. Okay, I'm definitely a numbers man. You need to know, and again, I'll always refer this. If you're one of my mentees watching this, I'll always refer old school to the pounds, shillings, and pence. We need to know exactly how much we're purchasing this property for. If you're doing the BRRR, exactly how much the refurb is going to cost. Now, again, the refurb costs and contingencies and going over budget and so on only comes with time, and I mentioned that on point 5. So we need to know how much the purchase price is, including how much stamp duty is, including how much the holding costs are and the refurb costs. What's our end value? Again, I'm talking about BRRR here. Then from that, how much money are then hopefully going to release to build on that momentum momentum, investing to move on to the next one. So just always be aware that, you know, the numbers are the key, really. Okay, so one of the deals that we're doing out at the moment, or one of the properties that we're due to finish 1 week today, 4 or 5 weeks overdue, unfortunately. We purchased that for 75, and that was a 3,750 stamp duty, plus, sorry, 3,750 stamp duty, plus then I think it's 1,350, 1,400 for the legals. Now, we've got holding costs each and every month of £533 for finance, plus £144.33 for the council tax. And then, obviously, you've got all the refurbs that are going on, all the refurb costs. So we're looking to hopefully have that valued at 140. We might even try and push it to 150. We'll see, to try and pull out all of our money, maybe even a couple of £1,000 extra, so that then the return on cash employed from that is amazing. Anyway, what I'm getting at there is, I knew, or we knew, before we getting into that deal, because of our experience and so on in other similar deals, this is how much refurb is going to cost. This is how much gas central heating is going to cost. This is how much a new kitchen is going to cost. This is how much plastering the property throughout is going to cost. The chimney and the roof needs looking at. This is how much that's going to cost, etc. But it always needs to be down to you running your numbers. So don't be getting sidetracked, or I suppose seduced really, by an estate agent that goes, this is the best deal ever. It'll rent all day long. It just needs a new lick of paint. It depends on your strategy, okay? If you've got 50 grand to spare and you want to, you know, split it in two and have two £25,000 deposits in two properties and you're not bothered, fantastic. However, if you're looking to do the BRRR, we need to make sure our money is really, really being tracked, and we know where everything's going and how much we're going to get back at the end of it, so that we can go again and so on. So yeah, point two there, not running your numbers properly. I'm not going to go too much more into depth on that one. Have a look around at some more of the videos on this channel, okay? Because I know that I've done lots about refurb costs, holding costs, and making sure you're doing your numbers. And again, have a watch of them and take it from there. If I didn't say this at the start, do me a favor, please subscribe to this channel, okay? Because I need to know who's watching these videos, who's benefiting from them. And again, more importantly, if you're serious about growing, have a look on our website, dervishdervish.com. Have a look into the Black Belt Property Academy. So we take brand new white belt property investors to black belt and beyond, okay? Point three, over-reliance on estate agents. This was definitely me / us, 2007 till 2012, 13, 14-ish, okay? We've been investing that long that we used to pick up the newspaper and pull out the classifieds, and obviously everything was in the classifieds at that point then, probably an advert about that big with a tiny pointless picture of the property and then the description. Now it's all online, which is fantastic. So hopefully you should be looking at Rightmove, Zoopla on the market. Don't just rely on Rightmove, okay? Because some agents are a little bit cheap, and because Rightmove is the £800 gorilla in the room, they can charge what they want. Some of them don't see the return on investment and don't go on Rightmove. They might just go on Zoopla or on the market. So be aware of those two, okay? But yeah, over-reliance on estate agents. We need to start building out, although slowly, small at first, direct-to-vendor type of things, okay? Marketing. Now, on a side note, you may want to invest in a copy of my first book there, How to Build a Highly Profitable Martial Arts School. Again, you're probably reading the title now and thinking, why do I want to invest in a copy of that? I'm not a martial arts school owner. That has got lots of business strategies, lots of ideas around marketing, lots of ideas around operations, cash flow, and so on. So again, although it's not specific to property investors, there's still a lot of information in that book that you'll be able to pick and go, right, especially mindset as well, and how you can apply it to your business. So maybe have a look at that on Amazon. I think it's about £13, £14. Invest in a copy, have a read, and then obviously my second book, the property investing book, is due to be released in early 2026. So maybe watch out for that. That's why you need to subscribe to this channel. Point four, trying to do everything yourself. So again, linking across to that book there, my first business was a martial arts school, a karate school. So I know exactly what it's like as an entrepreneur running around trying to do everything. Okay, but really I was a business owner. I would be the head chef and I would also be the chief dishwasher and do every job in between, regardless of it being high value or low value, high priority, low priority, important or non-important. I would do absolutely everything for the first 6 or 7 years of that. It's the wrong mindset to have. If you're now watching this, congratulations. If we're 10 minutes into this video, if you're watching this and you're wanting to build a strong, sustainable business, you can't do it all yourself. Now, there's a lot of, passion in sweat equity where people think, I'm going to do everything. I've done everything so I can say I've built it up from scratch like I did with my karate school. But then there comes a point where it's no longer possible. In order for you to go to the next level, you need to make sure that you're employing team members, virtual assistants, whatever it is, to free you up to do the high value tasks. And again, I mention this a lot to my mentees. It's about understanding how valuable your time is. If you're doing tasks that are £10, £15 an hour, but yet you could obviously be looking at a refurb, which over a 4-month period could bring you back 30, 40, 50 grand, it's that type of mindset we need to be looking at. So I hate it now on this particular refurb. We needed to sort out a skip, and then there was loads of rubbish, and then one of the trades was in hospital and the rubbish was building up. Somebody else couldn't do it. Our normal 2 people, one of them was on holiday, one of them was mad busy. So then in order to keep the job moving, I ended up throwing in, getting the skip moving and that type of stuff. And I remember cursing myself thinking, what am I doing this for? But it's always a good reminder to get back, getting your hands dirty, thinking, this is why I'm not doing this now for the rest of my life, because I want to build out this portfolio and I'm going to continually build up my wealth. So, don't be doing everything. There's lots of books I could recommend. Again, I'm an avid reader, but if you're serious, you just need to get in touch, especially if obviously you like the content that we put out and so on, and take it to the next level. Don't sit on the fence. Point 5, waiting too long to start. And again, all these points, I feel like I've said it. This was me as well. I waited too long to start. We've got to remember Zig Ziglar. I'm sure it's Zig Ziglar. Or is it Jim Rohn's quote? I think it's Zig Ziglar's. If you wait for all the traffic lights to turn green, you won't go anywhere. What a fantastic saying. There is no way that every green light will be on for you to get to where you need to get to, okay? There are going to be obstacles along the way. There are going to be things that you need to overcome. There are going to be things that are getting you away and prevent you and might even knock you back a couple of steps. But you need to be on that path going forward. So if you're waiting to learn absolutely everything about buy-to-let, serviced accommodation, assisted sales, flips, title splits, BRRR, whatever strategy, there's too much. Like behind me, I've probably got, I don't know, 25, 30 property books, maybe more. Obviously, pretty much the same number on my phone as well. There's always stuff to learn, okay? You need to continue to understand that, have that Kaiser mindset. I'm going to always learn, but I need to get in the game in order to make sure I'm achieving the benefits that are out there. So again, point 5 there is don't wait too long to start. All right. Again, going back to my first business, when obviously, really, I'm a 6th-degree black belt in karate. I've taught over 10,000 students karate, graduated hundreds to black belt, built lots of instructors. When they first come through our doors, they're not black belts. They pretty much don't know anything about karate or martial arts other than what they've seen on TV. And it's our job, or it was my team's job, to obviously progress them along. The first thing you need to do is make that choice. That's it. Do you know what? I need to get going with this. Otherwise, I'm just going to be stuck. Analysis paralysis. I'm just going to go from one thing to the other. And then before you know it, 6 months has passed, a year has passed, 5 years has passed, and you're in the same spot. So I hope that was valuable to you. I'll recap them again just in case you didn't write them down. Chasing cash flow over fundamentals or avoiding fundamentals. Number 2, not doing the numbers properly. Number 3, over-reliance on estate agents for your deals. Number 4, trying to do everything yourself. And number 5, waiting too long to start. Like I said, my name's Dervish. I run the Black Belt Property Academy. Subscribe to this channel, and if you're serious about growth, if you're serious about being a property investor, then obviously get in touch, okay? But I'm going to let you know I only work with serious, committed people. I'm not one of these, people that will have thousands of mentees and so on. I just want to work with serious, committed people that I can really help on, small group basis. Anyway, good luck. Make sure you subscribe, and all the best. Take care.